We have learned 3 audio effects so far, and we must know one more, the compressor. You may ask why we must learn the compressor effect. In theory, the compressor reduces a recording's dynamic range. What is dynamic range then? In simple words, dynamic range means the gap between the recording's loudest and quietest sound. The waveform you see on the screen does not have a wider or larger dynamic range. It would be difficult to understand the concept of dynamic range from such a waveform. We will learn these things from a different waveform to help us understand the process. I will return to this waveform later. The waveform we now see on screen has a wider dynamic range. I will not discuss this at a super technical level but at the surface level so that you can understand. The loudest point of this recording is here. We can consider the rest of the waveform as the quieter talks. Please note that I am not getting too specific with technical details, only discussing the general idea. If I draw a line on the quieter level and the loudest level, we will get a gap. This gap is called the dynamic range. The more this gap is, the more difference between louder talks and softer talks. A large dynamic range like this can make the listening experience poor. Soft talks may be too difficult to listen to, and the loudest talks may be too loud. To mitigate the issue, we have to decrease the dynamic range. The job of the compressor effect is to reduce the dynamic range. With a less dynamic range, all the audio parts can be heard comfortably. I will show you the compressor effect just in a moment. Before that, let me show you how the waveform will look like with a less dynamic range. I will normalize the select part to -3 dB. Normalizing only the selected parts will increase its audio level, and thus result in a lesser dynamic range. The waveform grew in size after normalization. The dynamic range is now much less than before. From the waveform's height, we can say that the volume level is now more consistent. Let's listen to the audio with wider and shorter dynamic range. First with wider dynamic range, and then with lesser dynamic range.
I will put a simple clap here. I will put a simple clap here.
You can hear how consistent it sounds with less dynamic range. You may wonder if normalizing the quieter parts solves the volume level issue. Why would we need the compressor effect then? Well, I crafted this example to show the demo. In real life, there will be chunks of high and low volumes in several places. Normalizing in that way will be too tedious. Also, the noise level will become inconsistent in the normalized and not normalized parts. Let me show you what will happen with other quieter parts around it. From history, I will load a bigger waveform. If I normalize the quieter parts before the loudest point, the quieter parts after that point will remain the same. You can see we have to take care of the second quieter part again. With many louder and quieter parts, it would be a very inefficient process. I will undo the change and let's see how the compressor can help. To apply compressor, select everything inside the track and go to the compressor effect. Many beginners wrongly think compressors and normalize do the same job, but they do not. Compressor is one of the effects to master for effective editing. You can see the compressor configuration window. I will move it a bit down. Another big mistake a beginner makes bussing the default compressor settings. The default settings may not work with your recording. If I apply this compressor settings, it will do very light to the recording. You saw the changes are too little and the dynamic range was not affected that much. I will undo the last compressor effect. I will bring up the compressor configuration again. This time I will make some changes in the compressor configuration. I will explain a bit later how I am setting the values. It depends on the recording you have and will vary from recording to recording. If I apply this configuration, it will work better than the default configuration. You can see the waveform is now a lot bigger than before. I will undo the compressor effect and explain how to find the right configuration for your recording. It is important to understand this process. If you have any confusion or do not understand a point, please feel free to comment. Your step 1 is to read the meter level for a quieter part. I will use the quieter parts at the beginning. Do not sweat over choosing the quieter parts. It is for getting an idea, so you do not have to be very specific in choosing. After selecting it, play it and keep an eye on the meter. During playback, notice what is the lowest level the meter got.
I will put a simple clap here. I will put a simple clap here.
If you could notice it, the meter barely got below -24 dB. I will play that part again, and you can look at the meter again.
I will put a simple clap here. I will put a simple clap here.
Please note that you do not have to measure it precisely. It will give you a direction, and of course, you can play around the settings to get it right. I will select everything and go to the compressor effect. The configuration window popped up, and I will get back to the default settings. You will now understand which configurations I am changing. I will move the configuration window a bit down so that we can see the waveform changes when I apply the compressor. Audacity's compressor is a bit different from the compressor of other software. In this window, it has both the downward and upward compressor configuration. The inner working process of these two types of compressors is different, but the end result is the same. They also need to be configured a bit differently. It also reads the value differently and acts differently based on which type of compressor you use. Those concepts are hard to follow as a beginner, so I am giving you a simple-to-follow formula. Remember, when we played the quieter parts, the audio level was more than -24 dB most of the time. We will use that value to set the threshold. For this recording, the threshold value should be close to -24 dB. The more negative values you set, the more compression will happen. Too much compression sounds unnatural, so you have to look for a balance. I will set it to -28 dB. Please remember that this value can be different for another recording. I will show that to you shortly. The default noise floor of -40 dB works okay for most recordings. I will leave it to that. Another important configuration is the ratio. The higher ratio you set, the more compressed it will sound. Once again, you have to look for a balance. In most cases, a ratio between 3:1 and 5:1 works well. 5:1 is for two extreme cases, otherwise try to stay below 4:1. I will choose 4:1 for this recording. The attack time and release time will be on its default value. Unless you want to be in the advanced level for compressor, you do not need to change the attack and release time. I make personalized macros for people's voice recordings. I had to use advanced compressors and configure attack and release time in those cases. You will find links to such services in the description. As a beginner, using the default attack and release time is okay. At the bottom, you can see two checkboxes. It is better to uncheck the makeup gain checkbox. Because a level of 0 dB will be too much, and it's better to set the audio level through the normalize effect. I will check the last checkbox compress based on peaks. It is important to check this box. Because I configured the compressor based on peak value. If I do not check it, it will use the RMS value, and that will mess up the configuration. To keep things simple, check the box and you are good to go. I will apply the compressor settings. You can see the waveform grew significantly, meaning the dynamic range is quite reduced. I will recap what was with the default settings. A tiny change in the dynamic range. Now with the customized settings for this recording. This is a huge improvement. So you see how the proper compressor configuration made a huge difference. But this audio recording was an extreme example. Our practical case may not always be that extreme. So, let's check the compressor effect with a regular type recording. You now can see a pretty regular type of recording on the screen. The audio is already normalized and noise reduced. I also have applied the generic EQ for voiceover that I discussed earlier. By looking at the waveform, you may see not too much dynamic range. But still there are some occasional peaks that are taller than the rest. A compressor can tame these abrupt high peaks and improve the overall audio quality. It can also make the audio a bit crunchy. That makes the listening experience better. Though we do not see too quiet audio waveform here, I will select the one that seems quieter. I think this audio part seems a bit quieter. I will play it and keep an eye on the playback meter.
Command using Audacity. Command using Audacity. Command using Audacity.
From my observation, the audio is never getting below -15 dB. I will use this value as a threshold guideline. Select the entire track and go to the compressor effect. The configuration that I am going to show now will work for regular recording. If you have a regular recording and you followed the other effects as I showed, you can use these compressor settings. I will return to the default settings so that you can follow my changes. As I discussed before, I will uncheck the makeup gain and check the compress based on peaks. The threshold should be -15 or less, like -18 dB. I am looking for a gentler compressor, so I would use -15 dB. The noise floor will remain as it is, and the ratio will be 3:1. If I wanted more compression, the ratio would be higher. However, for a regular recording, 3:1 should work okay. Some types of voice acting require preserving the dynamic range. In such cases, I would use a lower ratio. I will apply these settings. The compressor is done, and we can listen to it. Please note that the compressor alters the peak level of the audio, so normalization is required after compression.
Audacity is a free audio recording and editing software, and I recommend to use Audacity as a
The audio is louder than I want it to be. To mitigate this issue, I will normalize it to -3 dB. It is always recommended that you normalize the audio after compression to readjust the peak level.
Audacity is a free audio recording and editing software, and I recommend to use Audacity as a early software. I recommend using Audacity as the first software. If you are new to audio editing and recording, I recommend using Audacity. Though Audacity may not be stable as other paid audio editing software, but it is a good software to start with.
The recording has now become much better to listen to. As a beginner, you must master this effect sequence. Based on your requirements, some effects may not be necessary, or you may need additional effects like loudness normalization, limiter, etc. But those are a bit advanced level things. If you need to learn more complete editing for audiobooks or voiceover, I would recommend the Audacity bundle. It has all the necessary tools and courses. I also have specialized services for audiobook production. You will find links in the description.